Put them on mine. Just put them on mine. All right, so I'm calling the meeting back to order here if we're all ready to go. Who's starting for us there, Ken? Rudy? You looked like Ken today.
I'll take that as a compliment, Reeve.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning. I will turn it to Mr. Swap to get things underway for us again this morning. First, we need to adopt the agenda.
Oh, yes. Do we have any additions this time? No? Okay, then just go ahead, Glenn.
So if we do get this done today, Monday, we could authorize attendance to the Premier's announcement at that Leduc #1. We could add that to the agenda, maybe?
Well, that's an incentive to get things done.
Did you want to add that? Because it's not for sure.
Well, let's put it on. Attendance at
I move-
Premier's announcement.
I
It
move,
was- Well, we're putting it on, we've got an addition to the agenda right now?
for meetings, it would be the Monday appointment to authorize council's attendance to the Premier Smith's Leduc #1 for the EVROR announcement.
Ever.
Ever?
Yeah, forever and ever. Discussion? Go ahead, Karen.
I don't know if that was, I didn't hear I moved, but we should make that item 11 and then move adjournment down to 12.
Sure.
Okay. All right, you guys ready? Any discuss? Yeah. Oh, you never made a motion, Glenn? Okay, so just make a motion to clarify things, that you're adding an agenda item in regards to attendance at the Premier's announcement on Monday.
Yes. I'm moving, well, I'd like, I move to add the attendance of council to the Premier's announcement at Leduc #1 for the Evers geothermal announcement.
Discussion, all those in favor? It's carried unanimous. All right, now we need to approve the agenda. Kara?
I move the agenda as amended.
Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. All right, now we'll take it off there. Colin?
Good morning, Council. Before diving into today's activities, I'll just give a quick recap of some of the budget impacts through some of the motions made yesterday. So yesterday, with the motions made by Council, there was $234,431.75 that were added to the operating budget to be funded through taxation, and there was $170,000 using the reserve major facility capital investment reserve. So those are the, sure. So from the restricted reserves, we have $170,000 from the major facility capital investment account, and adding to the operating budget to be funded through taxation was $234,431.75. And so as we head into today, we have one report left that deals with the 2025 operating budget to be presented by Mr. Chambers and Community Services in regards to the spay-neuter program for cats, and that is number 2 on your agenda.
Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. Through the chair to administration, the taxation, just over $200,000, because this is presented as a balanced budget, where's that money coming from? Because in my world, and correct me if I'm wrong, that means we have to bump up taxes to pay for this. Or find it from somewhere else.
Yeah, so the way this will, or the way it can fit on this one through the chair to Council Westerland is going into this budget, we had a potential, I'll use that word as it's unknown at this point with the assessment figures, but as using last year's figures available to us, we had the potential surplus of $458,000. And so I have deducted the 234,431.75 from that. So it is showing a potential surplus of $223,568. So we may, when we get to the capital side of things, I will propose a transfer between reserves depending on council's wishes in regards to a request from fire services. That one we had additionally, you'll find on your restricted reserve sheet, an addition of $500,000 that we are looking to potentially use that surplus for. But due to the motions, we won't be able to use that full amount, so we will be looking for a little bit of a transfer on that. So as of today, it is still a funded budget with a slight potential surplus there, and we can get to that when we get to the capital pieces there.
Okay, thank you.
Lee, go ahead.
Morning, Reeve Council. So you may recall at this past council meeting, there was a presentation as far as the potential spay and neuter program. And so it was asked to bring this to the budget consideration. But originally this was in December of 2023. Cause for Critters did approach council for looking to deal with the stray cat population. And one of the things they've come up with is it's a Canadian Animal Task Force. They do a clinic, and these clinics are set up MASH-style surgical unit within the community over a weekend. They safely spay, neuter, tattoo, vaccinate, deworm as many animals as they can. During this weekend, community members may drop off their pets off the site, and they'll go door to door, pick up pets for owners and answer any questions. And of course, these are all in following the Alberta Veterinary Medical Association guidelines. They had tried to do this last year, but I know all the clinics, they were full. They weren't able to do this, so they got in early for looking for booking for this next year. So potential clinics are anywhere from 10 to 22,000. They're estimating 15,000. My understanding is that Cause for Critters is doing this the same ask was to the town too, so the town is aware of this. I may have muddied the water a little bit as far as, bringing in about the feral cat program, but this would not be spay and neutering any feral cats. They will not be catching any and doing anything like that. This would just be for the community members, people that have pet owners right now, and so they're hoping this would ward off any potential future, cats that will go to stray cats and turn into possible, feral cats. I would actually recommend that, with the 15,000 that council look at 7,500 cost share with the town, and then I would also recommend that maybe we just stick to the spay and neuter. I think most responsible pet owners will be doing the tattooing and the deworming, but that's up to council to decide, but that's what administration would recommend.
So just focus on the spay and neutering instead of spending the money on deworming and all those other things that or homeowners can actually do themselves.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, there's their program is actually to vaccinate, deworm, and do the, I thought they had the, within the community, we can tattoo, vaccinate, deworm. Yeah, I thought they did the microchip, but I didn't see that. So.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I think when this was brought to council, at least what I heard recently from my hearing at this table, that concern was about feral cats. To me, this is not addressing the issue of feral cats. This is starting to create subsidies or supports for responsible cat owners, and I think the responsible cat owners are able to and can continue to see that their cats are properly neutered and whatnot, whatever choices they're making for them. As far as the feral cat program, if that's the problem that we really see over there, then I think we should be addressing that head on rather than now doing this, I don't know, subsidiary program that has nothing to do with the feral cat problem. And I think the feral cat problem seemed to be the issue that was brought here. So why are we doing this one? Again, is going with monetary monies beyond what we collect taxes for, as far as I'm concerned.
Any other thoughts? Donna?
When Cause for Critters came, I don't recall if it was only for feral cats. I think they were worried about cats reproducing. And I know right now on Drayton Valley, my opinion, there is tons of people who are having to get rid of their animals because they can't afford them, or they certainly can't afford to spay or neuter them. You're right, Anthony, it is a subsidy, so I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Glenn?
I move to direct administration to set up a Canadian Animal Task Force spay and neuter program for $15,000 to be jointly cost-shared with the town out of taxation.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Those opposed? Cody and Anthony. Noted. So that was the only thing left out of the operating, Lee, or Colin?
Yes, that is correct, Reeve.
So was there any other motions that had to be dealt with on the operations? Like, I'm following what Glenn was laying down there.
Yes, no, if it was council's wish, they could approve the 2025 interim operating budget.
Right now,
Yes, that is correct.
okay?
That's
All right. Anybody want to take the honors? We need to have a motion by somebody. Kara?
I move to approve the 2025 operating budget for Brazeau County as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? Okay. We're on a roll.
all right, we'll keep it going. So I will ask the council go to, there is a orange tab labeled capital. And on page 2, you will see the title will be, I'll just pop it out so everyone, the Brazeau County 2025 Proposed Capital Funding Sources. It's a big 11 by 17 form like this.
That's the pullout?
That's, yes. Correct, sorry, 2 of 11, yes. Yeah, and there's about 3 of them in a row there.
Was that me? I was gonna, who's making that noise? Okay, so there's 3 of them, right? We're gonna do it in order?
Yes. So I'll just give a brief overview of the funding sheet. And so as council will see on the first page, 2 of 11, we have some color-coded cells with the project numbers. And for council's information, the cells that are colored green are previous projects and motions of council that they've been completed, but we're just waiting, it's a timing difference, we're just waiting to receive all invoices against them and close them off, and that will be completed throughout our year-end process. And as well as the ones that are no color whatsoever as well, these are already from previous motions of council, and again, just, carryover projects there. And you'll see in the far right, we have the highlighted purple with committed funds. So that means that funds have already been allocated to those projects and no further request for funding is present. It is the items highlighted in blue that will be for council's deliberations today in regards to the Public Works Road Program. And so these are a carryover from council's projects last year. and they are just being presented to be actioned in 2025. So if council would like to go through each of them and ask questions to the Public Works staff, and if those are still their wishes, then they can approve the funding that's requested for them.
Anthony?
To Amro, under the one for bridge repair for Lindale Hall, by Lindale Hall, would you go into explaining that one, because from what our conversation was that I understood, the repair work that was proposed originally, we didn't get the sufficient funding to do what might be considered a complete job, and so you were going to do some, I don't know, adjustment to what was planned. So would you go into explaining that, because I'm not sure that we're done with that then yet?
Through the Reeve, so this project, based on the funding and the proposed scope of work, was to do minor rehabilitation, and we have already the funding to do the minor rehabilitation. When the consultant did a review to start the work, recommended to do a structural analysis for this bridge. We have done a structural analysis for the bridge, and recommendation is to do a major rehabilitation for the work, and that's the most cost-effective way for this bridge. So we did have approached the province. We will be submitting an amendment to the STEP grant, requesting additional money for next year to do the major rehabilitation for the work.
Next year being 225?
Yes, and that's going to be subject to the approval for the grant.
And so is it truly one that's been completed then? Because this would, with listening to Colin, it sounds like it was completed, or at least that's my. Okay. So it's not completed, is what you're
Yeah,
telling us?
Yeah, through the Reeve, no, we did not do the original scope of work, because that's not the most cost-effective. So the work itself, if we did that work that was recommended originally, we'll still have to replace the bridge with the next 6 to 7 years. So spending this amount of money for only 6, 7 years is not, it's not the best for the bridge status.
Okay, well, I don't want to have that lost. I want to make sure that that's still getting, like next year, to get the monies for it.
Through the Reeve, we will be amending the STEP grant, and then we'll be requesting additional fund
Okay, thank you.
for it. Thank you.
What's, just refresh my, pavement preservation, is that chip seal? Or there's pavement preservation and then there's microsurfacing? And I know the microsurfacing, the pavement preservation, is that like the chip seal?
To the Reeve, yes, it is. So so there are there is many ways for pavement preservation. The one we're using would be microsurfacing. So what it is, it's the pavement itself, it is in good condition. So we do we do some spot repairs, and we apply microsurfacing, which we extend the life of the asset.
Itself, they say that we've done that.
Yeah, the way the projects were listed for 2024, it was called Pavement Preservation Program. It was the name that was assigned to the roads that were by that road, but it was microsurfacing that was done on them. Moving forward into 2025, have specified, instead of pavement preservation, specified what it is, which will be the microsurfacing.
And that's what's out here?
That's right.
Right, okay. Go ahead, Anthony.
To Amro, what is the surface that was used over there on 495 by the airport road? Is that microsurfacing?
It's the one that's failing on the shoulders? The shoulders are failing,
More than the
breaking out?
shoulders, it's right into the driving lanes.
Yeah, I took a drive on it there,
Right, we did too.
yeah.
Through the Reeve, I need to review the previous work for this project and provide with the information.
Okay.
Because I guess my concern is it's showing that we have some, not just that road, some of the others, if you start looking, that we're having some failures. We're gonna need to start considering whether this, in our soils, whether this approach works for us, because spending monies every 3 to 4 years to repair it, or sooner, isn't cost-effective in terms of the construction of roads that are long-term assets?
Through the REIV, so all the pavement preservation products like microsurfacing, chip seal, they don't provide any structural strength to the road itself. So probably some of these, so that's why we're doing some spot repairs, making sure that you have a good base before you apply your pavement preservation products. Thank you.
Good, I took a drive down there the other day. It seems to be good, and I don't even think it has microsurfacing on it. I think it was just a tack coat that was put on there. But they did it properly by doing the base, and that's staying hard, just like what you said. Go ahead, Roger, I mean Glenn.
Roger,
Where-
I
where
like
did-
that
where
one.
did- Where did Roger come from?
Through the chair. So the airport road that Councillor Heinrich's referring to, I know that material doesn't add any structural strength, but I'm curious, what was used, can you find that out as well? Like, did they use cement? Like, what was used for that base? Because it has failed, and I suspect it wasn't cement that they used to build the base there, but I'd like to know. Thank you.
Through the REIV, we will review and provide you the information for sure. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kara.
That road has been a long issue since it was rebuilt, and I believe it's been a decade or more since. Gary, I'm looking for a nod from you. It's been about 10 years since the original rebuild on that road.
No, I think it was less than that, because I was
No,
ele- I was elected.
it's probably been
so
8 years at
8
least.
years, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Hand on it.
yeah, that would have been how far back, because that would have been back when Winston was still here when we
Yeah.
did that, so.
Yeah.
We'll get the probably more pertinent information from staff, but if my memory serves me right, the material used to rebuild that road was wet to begin with.
Yeah.
So in essential, and I've asked for this for years, is that road needs to be completely dug all the way back down, all that material needs to be removed, and new material needs to be moved in. We keep putting a Band-Aid on it, so. But that was the original issue, and that material was used in a couple other road projects too within the county, and we've had to dig it all out since then too as well, so. And the road that goes into the Rocky Rapids Lagoon was built with the same material, and I don't know, with your other hat that you wear, if you've driven on that road, the same product, same failures, same things, so.
Yeah, well, it's,
This issue has been an ongoing thing, and it's the material under the road, so I mean, we keep putting a Band-Aid on it.
yeah, you're right, Kara. All right. Any other questions? So we're on 2 of 11. Was there anything else you needed to note there, Colin?
No, and just to the REIV, and if it was council's wishes to, as we go through this funding sheet, if they would like to approve the blue highlighted projects to be completed in 2025, I can confirm these projects are currently shown within the restricted reserve sheet, so they are currently funded and reflective in the current balance that will be left in the restricted reserves.
Go ahead, Kara.
If we're gonna do a motion to approve the blue, can we do them individually, please?
Yeah, we can do that. I just gotta map this out in my head. Yeah, you go ahead there, Glenn.
Through the chair to Colin, how hard would it be to add, like I said, when we have these roads, can we have one more column where it just shows total costs to date on these projects? Like for the airport road, something like that, like what has been spent?
Through the chair to Councillor Gunderson, yes, cost to date, that is some information that we could provide back to council as to what has been spent on each of them there. I don't know how quickly we would be able to, some of the roads may have some long ones, but we would be able to provide a construction update to council on what's been spent to date.
Yeah, it's a little tough for the in-house. I don't know if the detailed tracking was done when they were building that to know what's going on. So that's something that can be provided later on. All right, so yesterday I was wondering on, at 11 o'clock if we had public input time, but I don't know if we put that on the agenda. And so now I've got a member from the audience that wants to provide some comments. The only way to do that would be via council motion. Anthony?
You want on breaking, gonna help that? No, but if the person wants to speak to council, then we should make the motion like we do otherwise. Motion to allow the public to speak.
That's why I raised it,
Yeah.
Anthony.
So I make a motion to allow the public to speak to council at this time.
Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. You got a comment there, Gary? You'll have to come up to the microphone. You okay? Yeah, kinda.
No, on my road there, I got a bunch wrote down stuff here. You can photocopy it and hand it around or whatever, but we never even got all the road widening on that road right from day one. Like, there's still people there that you got it on one side but not on the other, and we've been working on the road since 2017, like on and repair now and then and rebuilding. I can't imagine how much it cost in the long run to do all that, but I just thought, we should do something right to begin with. Like, well, if you go right on it now, and I think some have, it's fallen apart again, and we just redid it this year again, and there's no rain and nothing to help it do that. So just, like I say, I got some information here if you want to copy it and give everybody.
You can do that, and we can just accept it for information. But yeah, it was, that's where trials are. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And, but I think Kara was right, from my recollection, is the soil was wet. They tried to dry it out. I think they even tried to apply lime to it and to try to dry it out.
I think they even use cement at times too. They're trying to, but
Yeah, it did.
if you don't get the bottom right to begin with,
That's right. That's what Public Works has said, and we knew that before, that if you don't do the base properly, you'll have failures in the future.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Donna?
What road is this?
This is the
That we're
one
talking about.
straight east. It's 495, straight east to the airport, so if you took a look.
Is it on here?
For-
No?
What is that, 3 miles or 4 miles? 2 miles? Okay. So right in the middle of the airport there, Rudy, there's a road that goes to the east. 2 miles? I think it was through the failure of the road that we had adopted the concrete for base material. You know, pardon me?
So if my memory does serve me right, you are correct. We've mixed lime on that road. I believe there is cement on that road. We've also ripped it up and then put the cement even further in that road. We have a base problem.
Yeah, a base problem. Yeah, it seems everybody has the same consensus there, so. What's that, Dallas, in your microphone? Go ahead.
I think it would be prudent to hear from our engineers. I mean, we're not engineers. None of us are road builders. I think I'm the only one who's ever built a road in Brazeau County. By myself.
Yeah.
Venture?
So the question would be, have you taken a look at what it would cost to rehabilitate this particular road?
So through the REIV, we will review the road and we'll see what's the best way to repair the roads. And we'll provide you a cost estimates and for it can be for final budget discussion. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Review at it, find out what it'll cost to fix it, and then bring it back before final budget. Cody?
I'd also like to know what the cost to, totally redo that road would be. Well, you said to rehabilitate. So if it's not to, totally remove the base and start from scratch, if that's not what it is, I'd like to know that as well. That's all.
Thanks.
Direction?
Sorry, Anthony?
Probably better if there was motion direction. I move to direct the administration to bring back the full cost of rebuilding properly to a satisfactory, stable condition, Township Road 495. From the airport, Range Road 73 to 71, I believe.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Amaro, just another note there, just some of the other roads, we went down about 12 inches, I was told, in mixing the dirt with cement, and that made the strong base. I don't know if that's correct or not.
Through the REIV council, so it all depends on the road itself. So we do geotechnical investigation first, and based on this, we will put a recommendation the best way. And also the amount of cement being used also make a big difference. So they might have used cement on this road, a lime, but it might be the ratio itself may have an impact. So based on the type of soil, we look at it and then we put a recommendation the best way. If we ended up going the path of using cement, sometimes you have to do a full excavation, about 2 feet or more, and then afterward, and you do separation for geotechnical, and then after you can add cement as part of the structural itself. So that's all work for base, and then above the base, when you reach your 100%, then you add your gravel and your pavement.
Glenn, Anthony first.
Maybe you're not aware of the history of Amarillo, but I think that road was built in-house, and it was also done in a time when there was, let's say, excess moisture rather than an ideal road building conditions. That factor plus the material perhaps being less than ideal probably has contributed to less than a sufficient base that's going to stand up. So I think there's various factors that went into that road, and I guess some of that stuff might be good to know if the, why the road is failing too. I want to know the cost of what we've already spent there, but why is it failing? We should have an idea why it's failing.
Just give a little bit of feedback to that through the REIV to council. So if we could do borehole information, it should help. Need to do some geotechnical work, and then we can kind of find a budget, find an estimate that way, once we get some more information on that way.
I was just going to say that I've noticed a marked improvement in roads since Amro's been on board, so I don't know if it's you or it's the construction firms you're hiring, but there's been an improvement. We should also look at that. I don't know if it's the people you're hiring to do these jobs, but it's been better, marked better. Thank you.
Yeah, this was one of the first ones, and so, like I say, it's not trying to blame anybody. It's just that it was an experiment to see what would work, and so you try to do the least cost-effective initially. That didn't work for all the reasons you guys have mentioned, and so they tried different products, like this one here, had some failures, but now that we've got the base properly, it's holding up good. 485 is holding up good. A lot of the ones I've checked are holding up quite well, but that's because we've changed our practice, so whatever worked, we need to replicate it. All right. 83 is still holding up. I haven't driven down there for a while. Okay. So there's some successes and some failures, but that's what happens when you're experimenting with cost-effective solutions. This one wasn't cost-effective. So let's carry on then. Anything else here? Go ahead. Oh,
Yeah, just through the reef, the council, thank you, and we did make sure there is a quality control for our work, so we've been, every single time we're doing, the work itself is being tested in a timely manner, so we're making sure every single layer of dirt is being tested at the right time. So we made sure water trucks is there, so make sure there is optimum moisture, all this stuff being tested. So the testing, making sure the quality control is up to date, makes a huge difference.
neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Just need a good road. All right, any other questions? So most of the blue are maintenance, right? We're, what's a BF 13214 494E? Is that a bridge file? Oh, yeah, that's what the BF would stand for. Okay, Kara.
If we're ready, we can start making motions to approve. I move to approve road number 0302.
Kara wanted to do them one at a time. Pardon me? Yeah, maybe I'll ask that question. Is there any opposition to any of these in blue? I'm not seeing any opposition to the ones in blue, so you can make a motion to.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it that way, I'll have to recuse myself from voting for pecuniary interest.
Okay.
All right, I'll move to approve road projects 0302.
Can you remove it? Okay, go ahead, Kara.
Okay, ask for authorization to withdraw my motion.
You got it.
Okay, and then I will declare pecuniary interest.
On a maintenance project, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Particularly road ID 0307. It's a significant improvement in this area, and I own property there. And it will increase the value of my property. So I will declare pecuniary.
Okay. All right, Dallas?
Thank you, Reeve. I move that Brazeau County Council approve road projects 0302, 0303, 0305, 0306, 0307, 0308, 0309, 0304, as presented.
Discussion? Go ahead, Cody.
Sorry, I probably could have brought this up during the last one. Road 0302, Range Road 71, from Township 484 to Highway 22. 71 doesn't connect to 22. It could connect to 39, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, in that area there, that's kind of where it shifts at Highway 22, right?
What can,
Road 0302 goes from 484, and it's supposed to go up to Highway 22 from Range Road 71, through Range Road 71.
but Highway 22 is also the one going to Rocky, so it would go across to that one.
Yeah, but it's, okay, no. Range Road 71,
Yeah. Township Road. 484,
Range Road 71 runs
north-south,
parallel to Highway 22.
right.
Like they're
But
not
Highway
the same
22
road.
at that point is where it's turned already from 39 to 22, so it is 22. Because 39 and 22 switch at 65.
You got it figured out there, Cody?
The
don't know.
Reeve to council, we can pull up the map, but,
Please.
22 is where, it is labeled on maps, 22, where Range Road 71 goes to.
Yeah.
It is further east where the line from 22 moves to 39.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any of your lights on?
Yeah, I had a question, but Cody distracted my question.
And there's a motion on the floor.
Yeah, okay, that was the motion I was trying to comment to. Colin, do we need to indicate where funding's from, or because they're, at least what I heard, Dallas, they didn't imply any funding for how it's gonna be funded? These roads? Oh, okay, did he say, sorry, then I missed that, sorry, Dallas. Okay, sorry, Dallas, I just missed that.
All right, the motion is still on the floor. Cody, another question?
And these are all maintenance projects. It's all, it's microsurfacing, but it's not a new road. There's
Right.
something there, we're microsurfacing. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Discussion? All those in favor? That's carried unanimous. Kara?
So we can just wait as Councillor Westerlin rejoins us. But just to stay on the topic of roads, we do have in your reports to council, the green tab on page 39 and page 42. We do have 2 budget reports that were directed by council to come to interim budget. They are not currently funded, so this will be in, we'll need to assign funding to it as well, if council wishes. So if you go to so the green tab, page 39 of 89, and it is Range Road 75, south of Township Road 494.
Okay, so yeah, page 39, we're talking about Range Road 75, south of Township Road 494. Looking for council to provide direction for the surface on Range Road 75, south of Township Road 494. At the June 18th, 2024 council meeting, it was brought forward there was concerns from residents regarding dust control on Range Road 75. The motion was made to add pavement to Range Road 75, south of 494, to the budget discussions for 2025. Traffic counts, Range Road 75, we have a current traffic count from 2024 of 292 vehicles per day, north and south. And on Township 494, we have traffic counts from 2022 of 269 vehicles per day, east and west. So we do have 2 options brought forward here. We could do asphalt for a total of $357,000 with a life expectancy of 20 years. Cape Seal for $203,000, life expectancy of 7 years. And on page 41, the yellow highlighted portion shows the portion we're talking about. So the green dotted area is the town boundary, and we're looking to that yellow portion north of there.
Even though it's the towns, we should have discussion with them and let them know that we're doing this. The public will think that, we're only paving part of a road, but it's because that's all we own, right? So I think there needs to be some heavy discussion and maybe a little arm twisting to say, listen, here's an opportune time to get your road done, and there may be some synergies in costs. So, you follow? Well, but we haven't got any approval from the town, have we, that they're gonna do it at the same time?
No, I've had no discussion with the town about this.
Yeah. Okay. Cody, then Kara?
Yeah, so, that is the intention, actually. My hope was that we could have gone to a joint council meeting and discussed this with the town before our budget, but unfortunately, that didn't work out. Yeah, the hope was that we could save on some mobilization costs and that sort of thing, and maybe save some money between the two of us. So, unless there's questions.
Well, I think the only thing we could do is just send a letter and give the town a heads up that this is what we're planning. Okay, but we can send them a letter ahead of time, because they may be done their budget by then.
Yeah.
So we could accept a motion to inform the town of our plans for 75. Anthony?
Got a question for Colin, because maybe I come in late on this, but these projects, if they're, like, say this one is approved to go ahead, how does that gonna affect our budget, what do you call it, balanced budget?
Yes. So through the chair to Councillor Heinrich, so for this project and the one after, it is not currently incorporated into the budget, and so it wouldn't stop the balanced budget, because that's more speaking to the operating side. What we would do is we would be assigning funding through the restricted reserves to fund this, so we would be assigning funding as it's approved, so we would still have the balanced budget going forward. So on this one, it would be the breakdown that I have provided on the restricted reserve sheet. This is not included in this. So it would be a reduction of the amount motioned by council to the restricted reserves, but funded through a specific reserve account.
I guess from my point of view, maybe some of us might think that we might want to have a discussion on the level of fund reserves we have, and if we want to continue to deplete them, that's, I guess, the question.
I think you'll know that coming April as well, and from what I've heard, even Colin talking about, is it's quite a conservative budget. We know that we got $1 million or more last year, or this year, 2024, and it's projected to get another $2 million next year. Now, we don't want to spend that money ahead of time, but that's why I said there'll be adjustments that, and we could stall this if you want till the final budget and then do it then. Because then you're gonna know, we'll know what our assessment is, and we'll actually know, how much linear we're gonna get. But because we had that 3-year hiatus on pipelines, a lot of the other ones are coming due now as well. Go ahead, Colin.
Yes, and just to build off that a little bit, really the projects that administration would recommend council approving are ones where we want to get out early on tenders to the companies in January. If there's ones that, maybe that's not specifically a huge rush to it, then certainly we can wait until we have those finalized figures in February, March to approve and have a firm setting of what the reserve balance will be. But really, yeah, it's those projects we want to get out there early in January to get best pricing on.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, isn't that, Colin, what we would have been already having done by virtue of Dallas's motion on the roads we approved on page 2 of 11? So we would have accomplished what you're saying to get our roads approved, that you want to get out early.
Well, most of them are maintenance, say, like microsurfacing,
But yes, you are correct in that. Now, these are just, as mentioned, just further reports that were directed by council to administration to bring back to the budget. So as it is, that is like administration had requested, and to have these ones approved right away. So it's certainly at the will of council on if it's a priority for them to have these locked in and get going right away.
Well, that's, I think, that what I'm trying to raise is the question, is it priority to have those additional roads that we're going through now, like the one current, Range Road 75, and the other one that's on the next pages, are they the priority? They aren't on the sheet for this year, currently, and maybe we should be looking at where they are on the 5-year plan. Were they on the 5-year plan, Colin? Can you or Public Works explain where they are on the 5-year plan without, having added them to this year's?
They are currently not on the 5-year plan. I'm bringing them forward from council's direction.
So they could be put somewhere in the 5-year plan rather than 2025.
They could be, yeah, yeah.
So I think that's something that discussion should revolve around.
Well, I'm all in favor of trying to get as much done as we can, you know. That's been kind of the philosophy. We're not really doing that many new projects, you know, just the rehabilitation or the microsurfacing. Dallas. And then Donna.
I'm most interested in Public Works' opinion. Like, we just talked about the airport road and how that base is not stable, and we've got some problems going on there. Like, is this, initially it came out as a dust control situation, now we're looking at a surface. What's Public Works' recommendation? What do you guys think about this? I know what my opinion is.
You got an opinion there, Amro?
But, oh, I go ahead
Or
then.
Pippa?
So we have never, like, we haven't established the upgrades, so this one is a gravel road, go from a gravel road to a surface road. We are in the process of looking at a better way to look at the upgrades itself, because now we're increasing the level of service from a gravel road that you do dust control versus you actually have a full surface road. So we don't have a practice or an actual methodology to look at what's the best way. We look at the traffic counts. So what we did here, we compared the traffic count for Township Road 494 that was completed this year, and we looked at the traffic count compared to Range Road 75, and that's the one thing we looked at this moment. So to provide the best recommendation, we need to develop a process for increasing the level of service from going from gravel to surface road. So
Donna, then Glenn?
I would love to see this happen, but I would like to have the condition that Drayton Valley has to do their part the same time.
So subject to the
Subject.
town.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's another option, a way to deal with it. Glenn?
I'm in favor of this project, and I agree with Councilor Brooks that we should do this when the town is enabled, you know, maybe not 2025, but 2026, when the town has a chance, and then we can mobilize the equipment and get some more, you know, do the job right all the way through. But I think it's a worthwhile project for sure.
Yeah, so that'd be, basically, you could make the motion to do it subject to the town doing their project at the same time, whether it's 2025 or 2026. That at least the motion is on the floor. The decision has been made to do it then. So we would need to have is there a motion on the floor right now? Okay, so we would need to have a motion that we approve this project, if that's what you want, subject to the town doing their portion as well. Go ahead, Cody.
So just through the chair of administration, where would we be getting the funds for this? Where would it?
So through the chair to Councilor Brooks, administration recommend utilizing the road restricted surplus account.
Okay. So I move to direct administration to apply asphalt to Range Road 75, south of Township Road 494, to the boundary of the town of Drayton Valley in the amount of $357,000 with funds coming from road restricted surplus, subject to town participation. Is that clear enough, or should I even,
Town precipitation on their portion.
on their portion? Okay.
We can get them to pay for ours as well if you
That'd be
want.
neat.
All right, so the motion's on the floor. Dallas?
Yeah, it's just really hard for me to answer questions from my constituents or my division when there are no facts, there's no data to support that. What do I say? Because, you know, I think we need to have a more facts-based decision-making process than this.
Okay. Anthony, what's your comment?
I guess my question is why we chose, or Cody chose, the asphalt versus the Cape Seal when supposedly, listening to, you know, a good number of councillors, they kept saying that's the I don't know, whatever you want to call it, maybe not my choice, but seemingly a number of them's preferred choice. So I guess I'm just throwing that out.
Cody?
My personal opinion is, especially in this case, the cost in comparison to the life expectancy is way better with the asphalt. But you're getting, allegedly, you're getting 20 years out of asphalt and only 7 out of Cape Seal, and you're paying, you're getting nearly 4 times the life, and you're not paying twice as much. So it's not that long a stretch of road. I think it makes sense in this case.
If I can speak then, Mark?
Go ahead, and then I'll just come, then Glenn, then Donna.
I agree with that philosophy of longer duration of a road, but that same philosophy and that same outlook applies to the longer stretches of road. So then we wouldn't have had likely some of those problems if we'd have done some of the pavement instead of the chip sealing, in my opinion.
Well, even pavement needs a good base. So the ones that fail, those are due to the base, not because of the surface. And so you can't put pavement on a crappy base either. Glenn?
Yeah, the price difference isn't that much, and it's obvious 20 years is better than 7, so I think that's a great way to go. That road is also, it's right behind Walmart, it's got all those trucking firms behind it, all the trucking firms along the road, so yeah, it's gonna see some heavy, heavy use. So we might as well do it right for the little bit of extra money it would cost to do it properly. We talked about doing that right. If we're gonna do a job, let's do it right then. So yeah, I approve of the asphalt.
Anybody want to do it wrong? Go ahead, Donna.
I agree with Councillor Gunderson. And as for, if you have to take things back to your constituents, like, it's really valid. There's 292 vehicles and 269 vehicles, and the big trucks. The big trucks are huge on that road. I mean, they're not any bigger than big trucks, but they're.
All right, can I call the question? Everybody done asking questions? All those in favor? Those opposed? Anthony, noted. Next project, what page?
Okay, so we'll be looking at page 42.
That's the meaning of life.
Yeah, so page 42, Township Road 492 intersection reconfiguration. We had a little bit of conversation about this Tuesday during regular council meeting. So recommended action that council direct administration how to proceed with the Township Road 492 intersection at Range Road 80 and Township 492 and Range Road 81. So during the October 15th regular council meeting, the motion was made to direct administration to bring back the Township 492 intersection reconfiguration to the 2025 capital budget discussions. Just a little reminder that we did retain V3 Companies of Canada to conduct a traffic safety study for this road and for these intersections, and that's where this recommendation came from. There is 2 separate costs there. The first cost is for the Range Road 80, and that's $889,000, and the intersection at Range Road 81 and 492 is $568,000. If we flip over to page 45, so 45 and 46 are the attachments showing the breakdown and the final costs. So on 45, that's the Range Road 80 and 492 intersection cost, $889,000, and the next page on page 46, that is the cost, the $568,000 for Range Road 81. The traffic study provided a detailed evaluation of the current conditions of the intersections of Township 492 with 80 and 81. One of the key findings was intersection layout. Both intersections were evaluated for traffic volumes and future growth to 2044. Currently, both operate within acceptable levels, but safety improvements are warranted. Based on the analysis, several recommendations are proposed to improve traffic safety along the road. we have addressed a couple of them, so this is the third one, the intersection reconfiguration. There is a reconfiguration map on page 44, and that is the drawing to what they're both being proposed for. This improvement is expected to enhance safety and traffic flow along 492, reducing collision risk and accommodating both present and future traffic demands. Administration is seeking council direction on whether to proceed with the intersection reconfiguration. Advantages: improved safety, better reaction time, alignment with local concerns, enhanced traffic flow. Of course, the disadvantage noted is the cost for both of these.
Anthony?
To administration, do we have the right-of-way, or do we need to purchase additional right-of-way?
I believe we have to purchase, and we have to do some brushing on private property within those intersections.
So are those costs for purchasing of additional lands in these numbers?
Through the reef, so we do have some contingency there that's can be utilized as part of these cost estimates.
I really appreciate you guys doing the work on this. The price is way too high for me. It'll have to be done one day. Hopefully by making that road a no passing zone, and if we can get a speed radar sign set up there, we can address most of the issues. But yeah, I didn't, never in my wildest dreams was it gonna be this much money, so, but thank you.
Comments? So we're at that point where a motion decides. Glenn? Then Cody? You got a question, Cody, or a motion? Glenn, were you making a motion?
Just to receive it for information.
Oh, okay.
I move to receive the Township Road 492 intersection reconfiguration for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? One, Cody noted. That's a new company. I haven't seen that V3, or is it just a name change of some of the existing road builders?
We have used V3, and your planning have used them for a number of years, and on and off through Public Works we have throughout the years. Yeah, just a bit more recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just,
Poplar Ridge Playground, is that next?
I was just wanted to add, if you don't mind. Just to add, through the reef, V3 has been approved as part of our roster, and for the past 3 years. So they're not, we've been using them, yeah.
They local?
No, they're from Edmonton.
Edmonton, okay.
Yeah, but they've been serving this area for the past, so when I came on board, they were already been approved for the past 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Anthony?
In our previous discussions with members that come in here and individuals that had asked us to consider their road request, and I mean, it's on our plan here, was Range Road 63 south of 39 to the Pembina tanks. And they do have some numbers here, I believe, too, of, just looking at it to make sure I'm reading them right. 870,000. At least that's the cost I'm seeing here on the sheet. So I think that's one that we, if we're looking at moving projects around and dealing with roads that have been a contentious situation in a sense of both concerns from ratepayers, but also with the condition of the road and the amount of work that gets done on that road, I think we should be looking at that one and prioritizing if that's what we're going to start doing. Because it was one that's been asked for quite successively, and it's having the problem with them tanks from Pembina and the beating it gives that road.
Okay, well, we'll come to that. The next item on the agenda is the Poplar Ridge Playground. let's deal with that, and then we'll deal with adding new projects to the budget. Okay, thank you. Oh, it's already, you already got it? Okay. Cody?
I know we've already dealt with the issue. I was just wondering if there might be some grant funding or something that administration could look into regarding the last motion that we made. I don't want to fight. It's not that big a deal to me, but the, you know, if the only issue is the cost is too high, then maybe there's some grant funding somewhere. I'm not sure, but it might be worthwhile to make a motion to direct administration to pursue grant opportunities regarding the project.
He's talking about the intersection improvement, and he's asking if there was some grants available to reduce the cost. I assume administration probably initially looks to see if there's grants on any of the projects, but there could be clear direction. Did you guys do any sussing out for a grant for the intersection treatment? We're going to take it out of Lee's budget.
Through the Reeve and Council, so with the safety for intersection, we haven't looked at it. Right now, the major grant application we do apply for is a strip application. If there is any other funding, we do look. That's one of the first thing, unless we're something I'm not aware of for other grants. But we have applied for the strip application, and we're going to be applying for other projects. Yeah. The roads itself, the two intersections, they are warranted based on the traffic, based on the safety itself. So we do recommend that would be considered.
Glenn?
With the phone calls I've been getting from ratepayers, I've heard more people asking for a traffic circle at Range Road 80. And that's, I think we're still maybe 20 years away from that. But yeah, like I said, there's no sense in spending a bunch of money on this and then having to do that later. So let's, like I said, it's not, I don't think it's warranted yet. But 20 years from now, somebody's going to have to deal with it.
Anthony, do you want to deal with this? Oh, okay. All right, take away the playground discussion there, Lee, please.
Morning, Reeve Council. So in the green tab on page 47. So you'll recall, as part of the 2024 budgeting process, it was added to the 10-year capital plan. We presented that 10-year plan. If you look at, actually, let's just go there first on page, that's in the orange tab on page 9. Nine and 10. 9 lists all the playgrounds for the 10-year plan, and then the next page, we've got a nice map showing all the different playgrounds, and it's color-coded to where they are. But for 2025, that's what we're talking about now, is the Poplar Ridge. As you see, that was originally built in 2007, and this is estimated cost as far as replacing what we already have is $260. And even though we have this 10-year plan, it doesn't mean to say that it has to be replaced at that time. I mean, there's other factors to look at as far as inspections and as far as the life. I know that we typically look at a 15-year life. This is 17 years. But anyway, there's the 10-year plan. So I'll go back to the green tab, page 47. I know one of the things, and I always like to look for that as far as looking for matching and grants. The unfortunate thing, we do own this, so we're not eligible for a lot of grants. I know one grant that we are eligible for, which we used with Willie West, was the disability grant. but you're only allowed to apply, you can't apply, you can only apply for one at a time. And I know we already have one outstanding application, so we're not eligible for that one. So it can't be applied for this one. That one is usually, there's constraints around it because it's for disability, so you have to change the design of the playground. Usually it's the pour in place as far as the rubber sealed the surface. And I know typically we're looking at, $100,000 when we go to a surface like that, and that's usually what we get for the grant. So, but there we have it. If there's any questions, but we're looking at, if we replace it the way it is, it's $260,000.
Kara?
With that potential grant, could this wait for replacement until the times elapse that we could qualify for the grant?
It can. I might just ask Tristan, I know, like we do have, like Tristan is a playground inspector, and I know that's quite an undertaking to get that inspection status, and I know he can probably talk to some of the specifics on why it's not meeting the
Through the chair to Councillor Westerland, in particular with the Poplar Ridge Playground, one of the issues that we have with all our playgrounds in general is that when we change one thing on the playground with a replacement, we now have to bring the playground up to the current standard, which the last CSA standard, I believe, is 2020. So the standard of playgrounds from 2007, when this particular playground was built, has come quite a long way. This particular playground as well, there is no shade around it. It gets sun all day long. And with that, a lot of the rubber components on it have started to wear. As well, with this particular playground, based on my best guess, on my best guess, there are some components of this playground that were pre-existing prior to the composite structure that was built in 2007 that remained at the site. So I'm not exactly 100% sure how far back we're looking with that, but we do have some quite old playground equipment at this site.
So Kara said, can it be delayed till we get the grant?
It can be. There's nothing extremely imminent. However, it has been marked in our inspections as failing, and it's just the level of liability of which council wishes to take with that at this time.
I guess one of the things with the capital replacement plan, we're trying to do it timely, so we're not doing two at once. So we could pile up a little bit and have, a few at once, but we can wait, yes.
All right, so you're saying, I'm hearing two things, that it can wait until we're eligible for a grant and then do two? Is that what you said there, Lee?
Well, no, what I'm saying, the longer you delay it, they all start to pile up, and then, although this one doesn't have a grant, we can only usually apply for one grant at a time, so.
And if I may add to that, the main issue with the Poplar Ridge Playground is that we are the owner of that playground, so we don't have a nonprofit specifically to partner with for this playground. So we would be looking at grants like the Enabling Accessibility Fund. There are some other grants out there that administration would explore to try and offset the cost as much as we possibly can. But the big thing with this playground, because we own this playground, is we are not eligible for CFEP without a partner on this playground.
Anthony?
Yeah, this one here, I think, was put in a time that Gary and Tim Mitchell, and I think the individuals might have been on council, at least if you look at 207, would still qualify that time. I thought, from what I recall, at least going by memory, but there was a group that was interested in the playground at the time. And so, to me, I thought there was a group that somehow, Tina?
So the reason we got Poplar Ridge, we had a young female constable posted here from the RCMP, and there was a grant initiative she was working on. Part of her placement here, she had to do community services. She went door to door and got donations from the oil companies. You'll remember in 2007, the boom. So that was paid for private funding, but it was constables door knocking and then getting the community involved. So it wasn't a typical grant, but it definitely was donated.
So is there a mechanism that we can also look at activating? There's gotta be people within our groups within the Poplar Ridge area that could probably be asked to facilitate applying for the CFEP money. That way it cuts our costs in half if they're successful in getting their grant, and at least we can get it done, these things then in a timely fashion, rather than building them up and having, I don't know, 3 or 2 or whatever in a given year. So I would sooner see us direct administration to seek out, I'm gonna call them community groups for lack of a better terminology, to partner with us to apply for the grant so that we can get it done preferably this year. But I think that's the avenue I would like to see us go.
We've got Donna, then Kara, or you pulled your light down, did you? Then we're gonna exchange you for Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah, you're up next, Don.
This playground irks me, actually, because we are supplying playground for Poplar Ridge Trailer Court, and I think the owner of Poplar Ridge Trailer Court should become a society and get CFEP money for this. I don't know do you know how well used it is? Because when I go by it, I don't see anybody there, and to me, it looks like it's in good shape, but I am nowhere near qualified to make that judgment. I just know we have in Lodgepole things from 1955. We've just adjusted them. So without a society backing this, I don't know. I'm sure if we asked the people in the trailer court if they would like to see this upgraded, like being a society isn't that hard, it's just some paperwork. So maybe if we sent out a questionnaire saying that your playground can be upgraded if we have a society. I don't know. It's my opinion.
Dallas and Glenn?
Yeah, Councillor Wilson, you nailed it. Facts-based decision-making is how we make these types of decisions. How many kids are playing? I have no idea how many kids are there, but it's one of our more expensive playgrounds. Maybe we don't need the $260,000 upgrade. Maybe we only need the $86,000. I don't know how many kids are there. Maybe back in the day there was 50 kids. Maybe there's only 13 now. I don't know. But let's do that.
Through the chair to council, Poplar Ridge is one of our busier playgrounds. Unfortunately, we don't have a metric like traffic counting to be able to have an exact number. However, on page 49, we do have an aerial of the current layout. Now, in the capital plan, you'll notice that it's 9,100 square feet approximately, and I do agree with Councillor Ekstrom that we don't necessarily the capital plan was our best guess on price based off of what we've done in the last few years, which works out to, I believe, $28 per square foot. We certainly could look at reducing the square footage of this playground. Everything with with this playground, as you can see, is spread out. There's a lot of individual equipment, and what administration would most likely look at doing would be more of a composite design, like what went in at Willie West this summer.
Glenn?
Is this part of a municipal reserve too, so it's on our land?
Yes, this is a county-owned park, yes.
Okay.
All right, now I need some direction. Glenn?
I move the council approve the project LAIM 0042 and add $260,000 to the 2025 capital budget for the replacement of the playground at Poplar Ridge Park with the funds from Recreational Facilities Capital Investment Fund.
Anthony?
I'd like to see us pursue some possible community groups, a group like that would partner with being a society and apply for CFIP. Otherwise, I wouldn't support this. I think that the project is seemingly, I guess, worthwhile, at least from my perspective, but I think we should be involving the community, and there's a community there that uses this.
So amend it.
So which?
Amend it.
Okay, well, how did you make your motion to approve it at 260,000? So I would be drastically changing his motion, because I would be saying, cut it in half basically and get a community group. So I don't know if that's, I'm looking at it, Rudy, is that too much of a change to his motion? Because his motion is saying fund it whole, and I'm saying let's only do half of it?
Yeah, subject to might work, subject to getting a community group involved.
Yeah, but that's not what his motion said.
No, you're making an amendment to add, subject to a community group getting involved. So it still could be a $260,000 playground, it's just that it's gonna have partnership money.
Okay, yeah, I would like to add that we have it subject to we getting a community group and that they applies for CFIP funding.
Any other discussion?
Glenn, either has to accept it or we have to vote on my motion.
Yeah, I know, I'm just waiting to get more discussion here. Dallas?
Okay, thank you. No, I would just, once again, I would rely on the professional opinion of our Parks and Recreation guys to maybe downsize a little bit if that's necessary. I'm not sure how I would make, I guess we'll do that amendment first, and then
Right.
I'll offer an additional friendly amendment.
Okay, one amendment at a time. Glenn?
I think they explained that it's one of the busier parks for sure. It's on our land. It's our responsibility to make sure that thing's safe. And if it's got equipment that's older than 2007, that's a little spooky, but I do accept that friendly amendment.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on it then. You said you accept it. Yeah. All right, so the motion is 260,000, subject to community group getting involved.
Okay, so. Can I just amend to, instead of saying 260, up to $260,000? So if you want to make an adjustment, it's only 170 something? Is that okay?
That
Friendly
seems friendly to me.
Pretty friendly.
Kara, what's your opinion? He's saying make it up to,
That's fine.
okay.
I was just gonna comment that just due to this location and the demographics in the area, it's needed.
I accept Councillor Ekstrom's amendment up to $260,000.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Anybody want a break? All right, folks, if we're all ready to go, run, Donna. I know Kara's gonna be busy for 20 minutes or so. All right,
So we have the Cynthia Rink renovations on page 50 of the green tab. And I'm going to let Tristan present this one, so I'll let Tristan go ahead.
Thank you, Lee. So with the Cynthia Rink, without getting too far into the history with it, the photos of the current state of the rink, I think, speak volumes as to what's kind of going on there. The rink, I believe, was installed originally around between 2011 and 2013. I don't have an exact date on that. However, as you can see, we've had a number of issues with pilings heaving, just simply based on the location that the rink was put on that property. That is one of the lowest points on that particular park there. We did seek a quote to refurbish rather than replace. The boards themselves are still in really good condition. So what we would be looking at doing would be some regrading, removal of the boards and pilings, reinstalling pilings, and then reinstalling the existing boards. Yeah.
Can I just add, just as far as in the tab there, we were informed that it does say that this was included in the budget already. It's not included on the funding sheet, so we would be looking to, this would come from the Recreation Facilities Capital Investment Fund, just for clarification. So, and just so you know, that fund presently has $723,000 in there, and with the Wiley West funding coming this year, expecting 82, that would bring it up to approximately 800,000. We do have committed in there already the Rocky Rapids playground that we're looking for the CFAP, so there's 180 committed there. And then the pickleball courts, which we have the CFAP application in there as well, that's committed another 155, so we've already committed 335 of the 800, so, but there's 465 in that fund right now. Am I correct there, Colin? So.
Yes, actually, those two projects initially listed there, they would not be a part of that final tally. We have those separated in the committed funds on the restricted reserve, so that the beginning balance of the 723,000 is above and beyond those two committed projects.
Okay, glad I asked you. Yeah.
okay, so it's already been removed, all right. So then what do we need, just a motion to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Go ahead, Anthony.
I guess to follow up a question that Dallas asked earlier on the other playground, how much traffic is there in using this facility? You know, like we're investing, you know, X number of dollars again. What's the traffic at that facility? What's it being utilized?
Through the chair to Councillor Heinrich, again, we don't have a metric like a traffic count to be able to. I can tell you that in the last year since we've begun to look for this quote, I have received a number of calls from residents regarding the condition of the rink. At this point, even during the summertime, we've had residents call regarding the condition of the rink for things like ball hockey, with the boards being raised like they are with the pilings, you can't keep a ball or a puck in there. But again, we don't have an exact metric, but we are receiving calls regarding this facility.
Wow, a $53,000 item and the lights are lit up. All right, Cody, I'm gonna go starting from the left to the right.
I don't know if it's a comment or a question, but I guess it's a question. Is administration going to use the same type of concrete piles, or are we going to use some kind of like, there's adjustable screw piles. I don't know if they're I don't know if they're perfect for this particular situation, but might help with future issues. I'm not sure.
That's a good point. Go ahead, Tristan.
Through the chair to Councillor Brooks, the quote that we received would be the top 1 meter being sonotube, and we believe that that would prevent from future heaving.
Yeah, you gotta get below the frost line, otherwise the frost will push them up. Unless you use floating blocks on the surface, and then they seem to stick better. But I think Cody's raised an issue. You may want to get a quote on screw piles, because they won't come out either. Dallas, not that I'm an engineer.
Yeah, we're not engineers. We're just cowboys. Yeah, so, you know, I really prefer if we had these types of recreation projects partners, so that throughout the course of the years, we're partnering with communities, they're putting in, the TLC is coming from there, we'll do the heavy lifting, but we just don't seem to have that. I think that's something we need. We got pickleball courts, we need somebody else to partner with. It helps for CFEP. We need the TLC coming from that side. As far as the piles, I hate the piles. That's a total fail. Those should all be floating boards, and during the summer, take them apart, put them away, put them in the back, and then the kids can play ball hockey or pickleball or whatever, do all kinds of crazy things there. Those piles just get in the way, and they never stay.
Through the chair to Councillor Ekstrom, just regarding the community group, with Cynthia in particular, their community association folded a couple of years ago. So it would be another case of looking to create a community association out in Cynthia with that particular.
I'll be the first to admit there, Councillor Ekstrom, but being out in Cynthia, they were the only society. It would be tougher out there than, you know, to find a partner, a champion. But
But there are users. These users are our partners. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to use a facility, you got to partner with us. That's how it works. Sorry. Thankfully.
Ben, already? Glenn?
So yeah, in Cynthia, they had a really nice rink. It was community-driven. It was just basically a dugout, but it was one that lots of people utilized for hockey. When they built this one, it just, and I'll say it again, really tough to build ice on. Lodgepole didn't even manage to get ice on theirs last year. Hard to get ice on these rinks. I think the answer is cement. Like we just did the shop floor. I think we just use the same outfit and do cement, and then put those boards on something level. If it's flat and level, then you can play pickleball. I have reservations about asphalt. Even in town here, I heard that the asphalt was good, but this year there was cracks in it, and the town has been trying to fix those ones at their pickleball courts. So the issues would be mitigated, and you get more use out of it. If they got a good flat surface, then it's more inviting to use, and it would get rid of these pile issues as well. If you could just put the boards down on something flat that didn't heave like this. But I think this would be a really good item to add to the 26 budget. Just do a little more work on it and see if I can't somehow get a community league going out there to help us with the costs on this. But yeah, I like the direction and I'm glad you guys have taken a look at this. But maybe I got to do a little work on my side to make this a better project.
Well, we got to look after the little people, and sometimes there isn't the volume of people to use it, but I still think the effort to invest into the community is a good thing. You maybe make a good point and do it with concrete, Glenn. Yeah, that's it from my point of view. Donna?
Is there any idea how much it would cost to do it in concrete? Any idea?
Through the chair to Councillor Wiltsey, at this point in time, I don't have those numbers, as we were just looking to do a renovation. However, we did just a couple of years ago redo the lodgepole rink. That was with asphalt, and we were able to get a pretty good deal on that because Public Works was also doing the streets at the same time. But that's certainly something that we could bring back for the spring or for 2026.
I know for, when we looked at pickleball there at Lindale, I know the concrete, it was a double the cost. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would be even cheaper, but I know this area is really important to the kids. They go out there and they have a basketball, even if they don't even have a basket. They're out there playing with their basketball. We didn't make ice last year. There was just not enough cold weather. So it's iffy to make ice, and especially such a small community. Like, you might get somebody make ice one day, but nobody's flooding it. I don't know, but it's really important for the kids to have a place to go and throw a ball around. So I will make a motion to approve the LAIM 0043 and add $53,150 to the 2025 capital budget for renovation, refurbishment of the Cynthia Outdoor Rink with funds from Recreational Facilities Capital Investment Fund.
Discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? No money for Cynthia.
Cody didn't vote?
No, it's a 3-3 tie.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
But these guys still need some direction, I think.
Well, I would also, I like the idea of at least getting a proposal for concrete and see what those numbers are. And Donna's right, like, the only times that I've been out there is summertime. I don't spend a lot of time in the wintertime, but there are kids playing basketball and things like that. I see that the basketball net's flat on that one paper there, but there has times that I saw them out there, and that's just random stopping by. Glenn?
I move to direct administration to clean up the site of all construction, debris, and soil. Like, there is trees and stuff that can be cleaned up there. So maybe we can do that for now. And then I'll make another motion after. I move to direct administration to clean up the Cynthia Rink site of debris and trees.
And how much is that gonna cost?
To the chair, it would just be operational. I don't believe that there would be any outside cost for that.
We can use the feller bunch to take the trees out. All right, so there's a motion on the floor. Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous? Sure.
I direct administration to look into using cement in the Cynthia Rink and removing and replacing the boards in anticipation of the 2026 budget. And also look for a community group.
Discussion?
So I just want to know if these guys can get ice this year. Is there something that we can do that we can get ice on there or? Or is it just a done deal?
This is actually one where we've gone out there and shown them how to do it. The asphalt is okay, that's fine, so they can still use it, but we don't go out there and make the ice, but they do have the, the tap and the hose
Okay.
to do that. But we tried to, actually, me and Colin personally went out there and showed them a couple of times how to do that, but we feel that, if there's not going to be a champion to, take this on, there isn't the need there. And I know when we did do the ice, it was limited use.
If I can just add to that, as long as the ice is made properly layer by layer and not trying to flood it like a swimming pool per se, theoretically, yes, they should be able to make ice there. They just have a lot of ice to make to be able to close up the gap along the boards. But
Okay, good enough.
Are you done picking on Cynthia? Good. So Glenn, you have a motion on the floor, I think. For any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Colin?
Sure. With that, we would look to page 58 in your operating agenda there, in regards to a request from Public Works for a mini track hoe.
Take it away, Mike.
Hello, good morning, council and Reeve. So before you have a request for a mini excavator track hoe, if you will, for $175,000. Maintenance has identified that to enhance operational efficiency across various departments, including maintenance, in-house construction, utilities, and parks and rec, this equipment will address reoccurring operational requirements that have previously necessitated costly rentals, providing both economic and functional advantages. The key issues, the costs, of course. It's been identified that the rental costs will pay for the machine 3 or 4 years. The operational reliability, sometimes we've had to wait to rent an excavator to use, which has put some projects a little bit behind. This will increase our service delivery, enhance that. And some of the ways are beaver dam clearing. Beaver dam clearing is a reoccurring event that happens at Brazeau County. Culvert clearing to maintain proper drainage, roadway and maintenance, and roadway and drainage work, and utility repairs. Further to that, Parks and Rec, I'm sure, would be able to utilize the machine for different items as well. The concepts, it's a versatile piece of construction equipment designed for a variety of tasks, including excavation, grading, and material handling. Its compact design allows for maneuverability in confined areas, making it ideal for areas our current equipment can't access safely or without damage to surrounding environment. One of the other things not identified here is the fact that you can haul that on a small trailer, so you do not require a Class 1 driver tying up a truck as well to take the bigger excavators that we do have out to different job sites. Yeah. The advantages, I'm sure you guys have all read the advantages here and the disadvantages. Is there any questions that anybody has?
It's one of the most handiest pieces of equipment that I've got on my ranch, and I've got 4 small hoes as well as some bigger hoes. They're just a very efficient machine. and they get a lot of work done quickly, so I'm in support of this particular thing. I was telling you earlier there, Mike, that my 304 has an angle blade on the front, which really helps in filling in the trenches. Most of the hose now just have an up and down blade, but if something like that's available, I think you must be looking at about a 305 hose.
About that size, correct.
Yeah, okay. So 305, the 5 means 5 tons.
And the angle blade, I have not been quoted on one of those yet, but I will investigate and get back to you.
All right, nobody on the left? Well, I'll start on the right then. Anthony?
Well, my opinion, I think this came up once before, this purchase of this type of product, equipment. And it was proposed by, I believe, Parks and Recreation. And council said no then because it was, felt it wasn't necessary piece at the time. And now it seems to me perhaps it's come with another swinging of the gate from a different department, but not necessarily with any greater need, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be any more in support of it now than I was then.
Glenn?
I think that Mike's given us a really good idea of what this is going to be used for. That was a good presentation. So yeah, I'd be in support of this.
Donna?
This is all I hear about from my husband is, I want one of these mini hose. They're just so cute. Do we get to use it at the equipment rodeo?
You guys get to make that decision.
Oh,
There was just some mumbling here. Glenn was saying that could it be used for cemetery plots?
It definitely could be. This does not have the cemetery bucket as the previous presentation did. Could that be bought? Of course.
do you know approximately how much that bucket would cost?
3,000.
Between 3 and 5 is correct. Yeah. No more than 5 for sure.
Okay. Well, I would be in support of it.
Dallas?
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's some need for it. There's some use, but it's kind of seasonal. So I think for the winter months, it'll probably be sitting most of the time. Would it be better, more advantageous for us to lease the piece of equipment for 5 or 6 months a year, get it through the summer months, and then we always get a brand new fresh machine year after year, and it's a kind of more of a lease agreement rather than a outright purchase? In your opinion?
There's definitely the possibility that could happen. The other use that has been talked about is certain areas where there's springs and we have to break up the ice in the middle of winter. So we have all of our plow trucks plowing roads, and we aren't able to haul our excavator to those sites, whereas the mini excavator, especially with the jackhammer, we would be able to haul it out with a 2-ton, so to speak, jackhammer out and remove the ice to keep things flowing. Could things be leased? Definitely. I think this item is a piece of equipment, and maybe you can attest to it. You never know how handy it is till you have it, and then it's sitting there and you go, maybe I could do this job with this machine, or we could utilize it more here, there, and everywhere. That's our hope as well.
Yeah, you can use it for, like if you're doing ripping up concrete and stuff with the thumb on it, you can pick up those pieces and get rid of them quicker and easier. Drainage. Like I said, it's the most handiest piece of equipment I've got. I wish I would have bought it first when I first started farming for all the work that you do with it. You still got something to add there, Glenn? Or, I mean, no.
Just call me Billy.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing that I'd wonder if we, go to another capital expenditure for equipment, is there something that we can get rid of that this would replace? Bring something in, get rid of something new, something old, goodbye?
Because we've rented the machine, we don't have a piece of equipment that we could get rid of, so to speak. All the machines that we use, we utilize on a regular basis. The thoughts on this is that we would be able to do more with less, or not with less, but with this smaller piece of equipment.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
He is right, like, you know, I haul mine around with a 2-ton or a 5-ton easily, you know, which makes it very convenient. You just jump in and away you go. So. All right, it's up to you guys, though, to make motions. Glenn?
I move to approve the capital purchase of a mini hydraulic excavator, Traco, to Brazeau County's fleet for $175,000 from equipment replacement.
Discussion, go ahead, Dallas.
Okay, so it will go out for tender, and we'll get 3 quotes back, and we'll take the lowest quote typically. We may get a better price than 175,000.
Definitely. It'll go out for tender on APC, and we will try and get the best equipment possible.
Every time, okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Anthony?
Thank you, Council. Okay. Moving on to another new piece of equipment request, feller buncher tree shear attachment. We did call it a feller buncher because it would as well grab the tree. Public Works has identified an ongoing need to remove trees from road right-of-ways within the county. Many areas contain large trees that pose several issues, including excessive shading of the road, susceptibility to falling during windstorms, and the presence of dead standing trees. While these trees can be manually removed, this approach is highly dangerous and may not yield the desired outcomes. To address these concerns, we have proposed the purchase of a specialized attachment that offers 2 key benefits. Before I go on, this attachment would go on to our medium hoe, if you will, a Volvo 160 that we currently own. Enhanced safety. Oh, sorry. If you want to see a picture of it, on page 65 is a picture of the attachment. Everything in red would be what we are looking at purchasing. Enhanced safety. This equipment will eliminate the extreme risk associated with manual tree removal by allowing for controlled cutting without the need for personnel to be in close proximity to falling trees. As you know, the logging industry is one of the most dangerous industries in the world. Efficient disposal. Once a tree is cut, it can be safely managed and placed in the ditch for our crews to delimb and cut into manageable lengths for transport as campground firewood. Tree branches can either be mulched or removed for proper disposal. By investing in this equipment, we can improve safety for our crews and ensure more efficient management of roadside vegetation. Relevant policy, there is none. Strategic relevance. Brazeau County is strategically assigning financial and physical resources to meet ongoing service delivery to ensure the success of our greater community. The advantages: safer, controlled placement of the trees. Anybody that's ever fallen a tree knows they don't necessarily always go where you want them to, specifically thinking about fence lines in the roadway. Reduced risk management and damage to the fences. Enhanced utilization of an existing hydraulic excavator. Lower overall cost compared to purchasing a single-use feller buncher. Increased capacity for undertaking additional tree removal projects in right-of-ways. Large oversized trees can be systematically cut down in sections, reducing road debris and potential fence damage. The disadvantages: increased maintenance requirements for fleet and facilities due to additional equipment, and also an increase in the machine operating hours, which may require additional management. Is there?
What's your thoughts, councilors? A feller buncher would be like $1.5 million or so, eh?
I never priced one out.
Oh.
Sorry.
They're a lot. So this is just the head that fits on one of our existing hoses?
Correct.
Donna?
I have a question. So, you had said that when the tree goes down, the guys come and cut it into chunks. So when I see those along the highway, can I get them? Can I pick them up? The wood?
I don't see why not.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it saves us hauling them away.
Okay.
Going back to the mini excavator that you guys have just approved, one of the other thoughts is, being as that machine will have a thumb, some of the trees, once they're bucked into, say, 10-foot lengths, could be put on the trailer and hauled to any of the campgrounds and cut up into firewood.
Any other thoughts? What do you guys want to do?
Just kidding.
Glenn?
I'm not totally against the idea. I just know that my wife said that with Earth and Iron, they've shied away from them. They're just, it was an accident waiting to happen with trees maybe touching power lines and things like that, or coming into the cab of the hoe, right? It's not as protected as a normal one would be, but maybe you guys wouldn't be using it, a little more caution, right? I'm thinking.
We would definitely try. We would definitely not have our equipment operators use it in an area that was high danger to begin with. We might find an area where there's no power lines and nobody else for a mile where they could learn to operate the piece of equipment. One of the other lines of thinking is, because it's a traco, you can go up, 15 feet, 10 feet, whatever, and grab the upper part of the tree and bring it down systematically and put it where you choose to put it.
Yeah, trees don't always go, like Mike said. You get the widowmakers, they got a twist in them, and you cut it, and the backhand swings around and, kills somebody. So there is a safety issue, whether you're cutting it with a chainsaw or with a feller bencher. Donna?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that council approve the capital purchase of a feller buncher attachment for use on Brazeau County's Volvo 160 hydraulic excavator for the price of $60,000.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. You're a smooth talker, Mike.
What is the next item? Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you, council and Reeve.
Go ahead, Colin.
I just thought, while we have Mike here, we do have a couple pieces of equipment for replacement on the funding sheet. So it probably makes sense maybe to talk about those items as we're going through this particularly class here. So if council would look on page 3 of 11 of that long pullout, we had looked at the microchipping earlier. On page 3 of 11, you'll see we have the two items that were just discussed, the mini traco and the tree shear, but there is also equipment 0103 and 0104, which is 2 grader replacements.
So, as you folks know, we have an equipment replacement program. Both of these graders are over 10,000 hours, 10,762 and 10,840 hours. They are, according to policy, due for replacement in the 2025 year. Just hoping that council approves some replacement equipment. We also, I was mentioning to Bart earlier, we also do have a bigger grader that is actually at 11,000 hours, a 14 grader. That was originally on the tentative list. Talking with colleagues, Dave and Kyle, that machine has had a single operator its entire life, has been a great machine. Knock on wood, is still a great machine, low in maintenance, so we took it off the list for 2025. Does council have any questions about the equipment?
Glenn?
Is this just a policy that we have, or is in your consideration these machines should be changed out?
It's definitely the policy first and foremost, but there's also our consideration as public works users. The 10-year proposed plan that Adam would have brought forward a couple of years ago also had a truck that we use as a tractor in the summer and has a gravel box in the winter to haul snow. We took it off the list because we couldn't justify it in our own minds to replace it. We're trying to bring to council items that we feel need to be replaced to maintain our level of service. And basically, so your guys' phone doesn't ring because we aren't getting the job done.
14s are road construction graders. They're not really abused because they're used primarily for grading roads. We don't really do a lot of road construction, but that's what they're designed for. The other two graders are going to be a lot more mobile and maneuverable, so. Anthony?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Yes, go ahead.
I move to approve the replacement of grader M140 and grader M142 with the money to be coming from equipment replacement reserve.
Any discussion? All those in favor? That's carried unanimous.
Thank you, council. What's that?
And then just as well, we do have some public works vehicles as well too, on page 4 of 11 of the funding sheet.
Okay. So on page 4 of 11, under section 650 vehicles, second block, VEH 0051, is an ag spray truck. That is one of the vehicles that does roadside spraying in the county. I have a little bit of a this vehicle was parked for a few years, and we just started using it. I believe it was 2 years ago we started using it again. The Ag Department has asked it to be put on the replacement list. It has just a little over, I think, 100,000, 140,000 K on it, so it's in good shape. I'm not sure if there's anybody from the Agricultural Department here to speak to what their line of reasoning is.
Go ahead, Anthony.
From what was explained to us at the Ag Service Board when was brought the pricings and the estimate of the truck and everything, is that the equipment on the spray truck, it's not so much the truck, I gather, as the equipment on it is not as efficient in terms of the utilization of chemicals and spraying, reaching out into the ditches and everything as the newer one that they have. And they were finding that they also had more difficulty with when you got let's say a better truck, and the operators are sort of half trained on that one, to go over onto this one and operate one that's has more complications based on, experience. So I think the part that was the biggest issue was the spraying facility on the truck, equipment on the truck, and it needed upgrading and updating. And I think the truck has seen, at least based on a lot of our criteria, has reached its terminology in terms of hours and, not hours, but years and the like too. So it was just a suggestion to us and, directed to bring here that we replace that truck. Mostly because of the equipment. Is Donya here? Okay, Donya maybe can help with it.
Good morning, Raven Council. Yes, we did request this be on the replacement list. The truck is 20 years old now. I think it was one of our original roadside units. The kilometers are deceiving because it's not making 50,000 kilometers a year, but because of the speeds that we spray at, the actual hours, I think, were calculated out to be 2 or 3 times what the kilometers would indicate on it. We did have enough downtime to affect our program this year with that truck mechanically, as well as the spray unit. It's still functioning, but it's starting to have, again, downtime that's affecting our service delivery levels, as well as it's a boom. So I believe it's a 12-foot boom out the side of the vehicle. The newer spray truck that we got through, I believe 4 years ago, it's called a roadside special unit, so they're boom buster nozzles. There's no movement of a boom up and down in the ditch. We don't have to lift every single time there's a road sign or other hazard in the ditch, other traffic. We're able to just continuously go, which increases our efficiency. So our intention would be to move away from the boom with this unit into that boomless setup as well.
The boom did actually get, the welds, not the welds, but the aluminum broke this summer, and it did come in once on the back of the truck.
Okay, what's your wishes there, folks? Anthony?
I move that we approve the ag spray truck replacement A36 with the funding to come from equipment reserve.
Discussion? All those in favor? It's carried unanimous. And kill those weeds.
Thank you. Moving on to VEH 0048, T87. T87 has met the criteria for equipment replacement according to the policy, 275,000 kilometers. The truck, the box on the truck is rotten, and it's not roadworthy right now. To tell the truth, it's been parked for about the last 6 months because of that and because it met criteria. But we felt that we would wait until this point in time to ask council for a replacement.
Just a question to Rudy there. We were going to look at our whole fleet management there. Do we want to hold off on this to see what your assessment would be of how many vehicles we need and how many we can get rid of?
That's certainly up to council to make that decision. As we discussed, we're examining, and Mike and I have spoken about a different approach to fleet management, and we're gathering some information on that, hopefully for presentation at final budget time. This truck would come up under our existing system as being disposed and replaced, and so that's why it's in front of you. We can certainly dispose of it and not replace it until the spring if that's council's wish.
I just thought if you're going to do a report, include it in your report and make the decision in your final budget, if you had time by then to take a look at what we need for a fleet.
Yes.
So I'd recommend that we just table this replacement until final budget, until after the fleet management program has been assessed. Okay, well, that's a partial solution, yeah. Just maybe not replace it till final budget discussion after the fleet management study. But that might be a solution. If we're gonna get rid of it anyway, just get rid of it. Make that in the form of a motion.
I think that's a decision that administration can just make on their own. I don't think we need direction. Just, you guys can get rid of that vehicle. We don't need to hold it anymore.
Thank you.
Right?
Glenn?
I move that we approve Public Works pickup replacement T87 and have it come from the equipment reserve for $65,443.
You don't wanna wait till after we do the fleet management to see if we've got the proper amount of vehicles already?
Oh, we've got that opening for that new position. We might as well have another truck.
Well, we might have a couple of spare ones already. That's what the whole fleet management is to do, is to take a look, what do we need, instead of just buying it. My preference is dispose of it, but wait till you actually find out what the fleet management needs are, and then decide to replace it in the springtime. So with that, do you want to just, oh, you just want to vote on it? Anthony?
I guess perhaps Rudy and Bart may have had more of a conversation that I'm totally aware of. To what degree do you believe, that there may be a shortage of, or like, pardon me, an excess of trucks? I guess that's what I'm sort of, what are you basing that on? Just for questioning?
There's no basis at this point to predict whether we have too many or not enough trucks. The conversation revolved under examination of our fleet management strategy. But until such time, this truck was brought forward because under our existing policy, our existing program, this truck would be up for our replacement. In terms of the quantity, the quality, the types and the uses, it's all speculation at this point. So all we have to base these decisions on is our current policy at this moment.
And I guess to administration, maybe to you folks, did I hear you correctly that this truck is sitting right now?
Correct.
And that's because of its condition, or because of it, you couldn't really use it?
The box is rotten, and we didn't feel that it doesn't bode well on Brazeau County to have a truck going down the road that the box is waving in the air.
Okay, but maybe,
Also becoming a safety issue.
okay, maybe I'll ask that question a different way. If it wasn't in that state, would it have been used?
Definitely.
So then it would have been needed.
Yes. Yes and no.
Okay, that answers our question, and that supports Glenn's motion.
All right, I'm always there for the big picture item, and I think we should wait till we have the equipment, the fleet review done first before we just arbitrarily picking to spend more money.
On fleet, there isn't a policy on fleet review? There is? Well, then there's already a policy. We've already done the review.
I think there needs to be a thorough review done, Glenn. Donna?
So yesterday, when we were approving the new, what do you call it?
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer fellow, and we asked if he would have a pickup. Is this the pickup?
It could definitely be. Because we are reviewing it, there's a lot of questions being raised. Essentially, what we want to do is ensure that Brazeau County is utilizing what we have properly and look at alternative ways to utilize our equipment that might make more sense. Amro and Rudy have brought up the question. Let's analyze it. Until the analyzation has been done, I'm not sure that what the correct answer is.
Okay, I just don't want our new guy to be flapping around in a rusty old truck. I mean, it's got 275,000 kilometers, that's,
It does meet the policy for replacement, and it is, was it the end of the world that we didn't have it this summer? No, it wasn't. Would it have been used? To Anthony's question, yes, it could have been.
okay.
We made do.
Anthony?
To quote our Reeve, we just spent $30,000 debating this.
Well, your calculations are as good as mine. Anyway, you guys know how I feel. I think we should wait till we do a complete fleet review, but there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Those opposed? 3 opposed, it's carried.
Okay. Moving on to VEH 0050. So that is the one and only service truck that we have. So it is at 253,000 kilometers to be exact. Replacement is 275. It is starting to show its age, and it's starting, the service body on the back is starting to rust. We're asking council to give us $247,485 to replace it. Being as that is the only service truck we have, when we have to do roadside repairs, it is very important that it is up and running. We have had 2 incidences in the last summer where it failed us, unfortunately, and we had to throw tools in a 5-gallon pail and head out to try and fix a piece of equipment for construction, of course. And their window of getting their job done is very small.
Is this coming out of equipment replacement?
I believe so.
Yes? Okay. And the same with the last one? I don't know if Anthony said where the funds were coming from? So, or Glenn's motion? Okay. Well, this seems like a no-brainer on this one. There's only one. Donna?
I move to replace vehicle 0050 for $247,485 out of equipment replacement.
Okay, discussion, all those in favor? You're just too slow, Cody. You've got to jump to the pump quicker.
Nobody's faster than
Favor. I was just gonna, it's not the end of the world, but, so the motion was specifically to purchase this vehicle. And I was just gonna mention that we need to sell the existing one as well.
Oh, you mean to sell it?
Yeah.
It's in their purview to do that.
It's a replacement to sell the old one. Yeah, this is definitely an equipment replacement. When we come to you and ask for new equipment, it's stated as new equipment.
Yeah, I gotta ask opposed, because you didn't vote for, and you gotta vote, so those opposed?
Yep.
Cody?
Thank you, council.
Yeah.
That's it for me. May I be excused?
Yeah, take the rest of the day off, Mike.
With the snow out there, are you crazy?
It's 2 inches.
Oh, my.
All right, Colin, we got something else here?
Thank you.
Yes. We would now request that council go back to the reports section under the green tab on page 66 of 89 for Violet Grove Transfer Station refurbishment.
What page?
Okay, so we're on page 66, Violet Grove Transfer Station refurbishment. Recommended action, looking that council approve $80,000 for the design and cost assessment of removing and replacing the retaining wall, regrading and repaving the resident access pad, and configure the Violet Grove Transfer Station due to the retaining wall failure. A little bit of background, this site was constructed in 1984 with a canopy structure for only a single bin. In the mid-2000s, Brazeau County expanded this site to create a location for a second bin under an expanded canopy structure. Since 2020, it's been noted that the retaining wall is leaning towards the garbage bins, and the pavement in the front has been dropping yearly. Attempts made by the Utilities Department to stop the retaining wall and pavement degradation have been unsuccessful. Due to the unsuccessful attempts, administration engaged an engineering company to inspect this site in July of 2023 to provide their suggestions or recommendations. So Appendix A on page 69 is the start of that report. The representative for the engineering company observed tilting and significant cracking and distress of the retaining wall. Of the three options provided, the option they recommended was to remove and replace the retaining wall and to reconfigure the site to be refurbished, very similar to the Rocky Rapids Transfer Station site that we did in recent years. This option they deemed to have the least risk, involved minimal ground disturbance, and they felt like it was most feasible. We received a high-level cost estimate for this. So on page 67, we have the breakdown of those costs. So the first section is just a breakdown of the engineering, the preliminary design, detailed, and post-construction services, and have that cost, it's $76,500. That's where we have that $80,000 for. Below that is the construction cost, replace retaining wall and replace the pavement at $353,500. So total $430,000. The initial estimate for the full scope of work, we just rounded that as $500,000 to encompass everything. So we're looking for the $80,000 is approved for design. Then there may be opportunities to reduce the overall cost. So one potential approach is to engineer the retaining wall independently, foregoing the additional work mentioned. This design can minimize site disturbance and ensure adequate drainage away from the wall, preventing water buildup that increases pressure on the wall. Yeah. Do we have any questions?
What's the direction, councillors? Dallas.
Yeah, I think we could get to this. Let's get it done. So I move that Brazeau County Council approve $80,000 for the design and cost assessment of removing and replacing the retaining wall, regrading and repaving, residential access paths, and reconfiguration of Violet Grove Transfer Station due to your retaining wall failure. And Colin, would you like me to cite the source of that?
Engineered structures, please.
Engineered structures.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous.
Thank you.
Colin?
Yes. And just at this point in time, we'll ask Fire Chief Thompson to come forward in regards to his report.
Take it away when you got time.
Good morning, Council. This morning, I'm respectively asking Council to approve the purchase of a new aerial fire truck in partnership with the town of Drayton Valley to replace an existing aerial truck that we have in our fleet. This new unit, if approved by Council, will provide us the opportunity to replace our existing aerial truck that we've had in operation for the past 21 years. The purchase of this unit for Station 3 would provide us the ability to maintain services in both Brazeau County and the town of Drayton Valley. As per the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association standards suggests that life expectancy of a fire apparatus is between 10 to 15 years. And after that, it should be taken out of frontline service duty. And after 20 years, it should be taken totally out of emergency services operations. We are now on year 21 with this truck. This truck is showing significant signs of wear and tear. We have had to put in $25,000 in repairs to this truck this year. It was in the shop for a month and a half to get those repairs. We just got it back and we took it out for one operation and it's busted again. So that's going to mean it's no longer usable at this point in time, so it's going to require further repairs. We've also determined that moving into 2025, it's going to require some additional repair work that was not the result of the last operation. This truck is used both in the town and the county. The county has some significant industrial sites that this truck would be deployed to. We have deployed it on those sites, such as tank farms, refineries, large structures. There's also some large structures in Breton, such as the apartment building there, as well as the school that this would be deployed to assist. As well, following in line with Council's vision of an economic corridor, if you're going to bring in large plants, you'd also require fire suppression capabilities to support those plants as well. As I mentioned, this is a cost-shared venture with the town of Drayton Valley, so we are respectfully asking that Council approves the cost of $1.5 million to provide one-half the cost of the aerial truck. And I believe Tina has a photo of it for you to look at.
Is it 1.5 million for the total price, or is
No,
that?
it's $3 million for the total price.
3 million, wow.
1.5 million is the county's share.
Donna, then Anthony?
Does this sort of thing have to be, like, ordered and then they make it, or are there ones that you can just buy?
Usually you order it and then they make it. However, we did have this past year where one was ordered and then the municipality decided not to go forward with it, so then that comes up for sale. So we're hoping that that might be an option that we can pursue, which could quite probably reduce the cost of the truck. We're going with $3 million because it seems every time we order one of these trucks, I come back to council and say, well, it's gone up in price. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Anthony?
Yeah, I think that's what happened with one of our last trucks that was purchased.
The last two, actually.
And this is going by my opinion and and what I believe my recollection is. I thought we replaced this truck much later than that. And I believe it would have been, first of all, the ladder truck was not a joint truck. It became a joint truck after Bart was no longer in council. I'm just using timelines, Bart, not no, but it was after that point in time. Sorry if I'm not trying to be rude here when I say that. So it came in at least after 2004. I believe, if I'm using my memory of what I believe people were sitting on council, it was probably closer to 2008, 2010 in that year time frame. So if we go by that, based on my recollection, that doesn't make it 21 years old. So I'm sort of looking at some things that don't quite line up with what's put in front of me, with my memory.
So with all due respect, that truck was purchased and showed up in our hall in 2003. And you're right in the fact that when it was purchased, it was a town purchase. And it was just solely for use in the town. However, we had an unfortunate incident where we had a chimney fire in a large structure out in the county, and firefighters deployed to that location. They deployed a ladder and we had a firefighter fall approximately 25 feet to the ground. We were fortunate enough that the firefighters on the ground caught him, but there was injuries involved, and after that incident, there was a shift to deploy that truck no matter where for firefighter safety, whether it be in the town or the county. And so moving forward from that point, it had been deployed all over the place. Wherever it was needed, it was deployed. So that's kind of the history on it. It is a 2003 truck.
Okay. Glenn?
I think with the way that things are going right now, like California wants to make all the transport trucks electric. So this might be the opportunity, well, maybe the last opportunity we have to get a diesel fire truck. And if it lasts 20 years, this might be a little window to actually get this done before mandates pull us right out of something that's practical anymore. Would this have the new lights on the top of the fire trucks? I see on TikTok, they turn green to indicate that's where the command, they call it command on demand. Would this truck have that as well? Or?
It could, absolutely. That is new technology that is coming into the fire service, and definitely that is something that we would look at.
Yeah, like I said, I seen the aerial truck working the fire just north of the office here when that bushfire was here, and
correct.
Had that truck not been there, that fire could have got away, so it came in handy then. We definitely need an aerial truck because we have hospitals and we have these senior homes, and like I said, the industrial, and so it comes in handy in so many places. It's very expensive, but at the same time, it could be way more expensive with regulations coming down the pipe. And this could be the cheaper way for us to get out of this.
Thank you, Fireman Glenn.
And with
Cody?
and just to add, one of our biggest concerns is the bridge. We have had incidents where we've had vehicles hanging over the bridge, and if we ever get a situation where we can't reach it from the road, we're going to need a piece of equipment to be able to go over the bank and then down so that we can be on a safe platform to rescue people should the need arise. And this truck that we're looking at would provide that for us.
Cody?
Through the chair to administration, would this expenditure come out of equipment replacement or fire equipment?
Go ahead, Colin.
So through the chair to Councillor Brooks, we would, due to the level in the fire equipment restricted surplus, we would look for a two-account funding on this one. So we would look to have it funded through the fire equipment restricted surplus and 500,000 be funded through the major facility capital investment.
Okay, 500,000. 500,000 out of where, sorry?
The major facility capital investment account.
Are you done, Cody? Because I got to go to Kara before, if you're thinking of making a motion.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. Through the chair to administration, have we put this out to tender? So I very well know that there's not very many places in North America that makes these. Have we used like canoe procurement? Have we looked at, I believe the town belongs to AB Muni's purchasing group of companies. Is this done through there? And if,
correct.
My other thing is, have you tried both? Because I believe AB Muni's is completely separate than canoe.
Correct. The process that we would use would be going out and actively seeking different quotes for this, but we have used both of those that you've.
Okay, I was going to, because this puts us in a unique position that you've got both the town and the county involved, and you can put the pressure on our buying groups for sure. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the avenue that you're taking, and that the unique position was taken into consideration.
And we'll continue to do that.
Perfect.
Be covered by insurance, correct?
Correct.
RMA insurance.
Yeah.
So
they are looking at that.
Yeah, they are. So that's actually, it's a kind of a neat, but just a sidebar conversation with the Reeves comments. The town is currently insured and deals with AB Muni's, and it's AMSCA, I believe, is their who they're buying from. But the town has actually given notice, and they're going to be becoming part of RMA's group of companies an insurance company.
All right, any other comments? Cody?
I move to approve the purchase of a new aerial fire truck in partnership with the town of Drayton Valley, with at our cost of $1.5 million, $1 million coming from the Fire Equipment Restricted Reserve, and $500,000 coming from Major Facility Investment Account.
Discussion, Kara?
Just a friendly amendment to say up to 1.5 million, please.
You accept that, Cody? All right. Anthony?
Colin, does this, or Colin, I mean, Tom, does this truck also have a number like we used with our public works, it's T whatever, around 400 or 40? So does this truck have a number like that too?
No, this one was a town purchase, so it wouldn't have that number through the county. It does have one through the town,
So wouldn't it?
and it would be 0351.
So shouldn't that be part of our identity of what we're purchasing or replacing?
Well, when you're only
so
buying one, you shouldn't
if-
get confused.
Well,
If I may, what we've started to do with these joint projects is we've started to purchase them through the county. And the reason why we've started to purchase them through the county is because the county maintenance people can then do the CVIPs, and they can do all of the inspections and all that stuff. If it goes through the town, then the town, it's a crazy thing. The town has a contract with the county to look after all of our emergency equipment, but they cannot do CVIPs for town vehicles. So now all of our new purchases, we do through the county so that they can do the CVIPs for all of them.
And what do we do with the old truck?
It will be sold off.
Do we get half the money?
Not for that one, because it is a town, it was a town purchase. It's very similar to when we sell vehicles that are totally county assets, then the county would get it. If it's a joint one, then it's a cost, then the shared amount is.
Go ahead, Anthony.
but Tom, you just said a while ago, if I understood you correctly, that it was a town truck, but it became earlier, when I raised my point of the timing, I thought it was coming in.
Correct.
You told me that it was, or told us that it was, at that point, becoming a joint truck. So if it became a joint truck, it is a joint truck now.
So, yes, but it was purchased by the town of Drayton Valley, and it has been maintained and paid for by the town of Drayton Valley, even though it is used in the county.
It just doesn't seem fair.
And it doesn't seem everything's adding up.
Pardon me,
It
Anthony?
doesn't seem that everything adding up from my point of view.
What can we expect to get for the old truck, do you think, when you put it up for sale?
I would have no idea. I'm probably guessing. I can't even guess. I don't know. It's in bad repair right now, so I don't know.
Anthony?
Kara would have been on council about the time that this discussion came up before with this aerial truck, because I know there was at least two of us councilors that are currently here that were here then.
Well, Kara and I had different streams. In 2003, I was still here, and Kara wasn't. She didn't come on till what, 2014 or 2013? You were in high school? Pardon me? Your motion is on the floor? And we can't extend this another year. You're saying we need to do it this year?
Yeah, when we're ordering these things, it takes approximately 2 years to get a new one. So we're just delaying the inevitable.
Donna?
I don't want there to be a fire and the fire truck in the shop waiting for parts.
Well, maybe it's the parts that caught it on fire. All right. No other debate? All those in favor? Those opposed? Anthony?
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we'll break for lunch. You got anything else left there, Colin?
So just to provide a bit of a recap for council and a status of, excuse me, where we're currently sitting. So right now, we only have 2 items left for discussion. They are page 88 and page 89, and there are budget requests by organizations. We have a letter from DV Historical Society and a letter from the Lindale Rodeo Grounds request for fence repair. And those are the last remaining items to go through kind of the total budget impacts where we're sitting. We have not had anything further in regards to taxation, but we are currently pulling on top of the 170 we had done earlier from restricted reserves, another 1,248,849,000 has been approved for a total draw on reserves of, 1.176918.
You couldn't be more precise, could you there, Colin?
You know.
What about their, did we deal with 7 and 8 on our agenda?
Oh, sorry, thank you. That's, that'll be the next week. So yes, we have 4 items in total. Thank you, Reeve. So those 2 will be coming up as well, too.
Okay,
So
let's
total
break for
4.
lunch. Uh, 45 minutes. Oh. My ass is so hard. Back to order, just so we can get this job done here. Hopefully, we can be done in an hour. Okay, so we're going to item, we got item 5. Is that correct, Colin?
So, just to council, we have 2 items left just in our reports, and they are budget requests by organizations, and they can be found starting on page 88 of 89 in your reports tab. And this one is from the DV Historical Society.
It's right at the back of your binder. You recall Charlie Minor making a presentation regarding this. I will, after reading through, it comes down to space and looking for a building, but I see that, there's also the need for artifacts, and he talks about with no more room to display artifacts they cannot accept anymore. And anyway, he did end it by not a good or proper position for a museum. At this time, we ask only that you keep this information in mind when planning for 25 and 2026. But there is no price or cost, and I know he's presented to the town as well, and I know it's for half their consideration. It might be a good topic of discussion at the next joint council, just to, and maybe have Charlie come again, because he hasn't got a price, as far as. I know originally he did ask, if you could start putting money away, like $100,000, that was previous presentations, but he didn't say it in this one.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I think that presentation, when he made to us, he asked for us, if I remember correctly, $50,000 a year for 5 years. Does that sound right?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
But I think you need a formal ask,
Yes.
So I think this can be delayed till final budget if he makes a presentation by then. If not, we'll have to deal with it later on.
But like I say, I think a good discussion at joint councils with Drayton Valley, because they, whatever one side does, the other needs to be on side, and especially it's located in town.
Yeah, good idea. We'll add that to the agenda. So there's nothing we can do with this right now then? I would suggest we wait till we get a formal presentation, have a definite ask, and then we decide how much we want to contribute. But it'd be a good idea, Lee, to talk with the town. Yeah, I would do that for now. No, this is already in the agenda, isn't it? Oh, yeah. You were gonna receive it for information? Or,
No, but they're saying different, so.
no, two different motions. One is to receive it for information, secondly, to have a discussion with the town.
Okay, I move to receive it for the museum request for information.
Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous, and then a motion to add it to the joint council meeting. Glenn?
I move to add the Drayton Valley and District Historical Letter to the next town and county joint council meeting.
Discussion, all those in favor? Okay.
So the next one is the next page there, page 89. And this is from Big West High School Rodeo Club and the Brazeau Junior Rodeo Association. Both are nonprofit organizations, and so they can assist with grants, and they're willing to do that. And I know myself and Tristan were down after the last big rodeo event there, and one of the complaints really was, and they've got it in their letter, about page wire around the rodeo grounds, which is a no-no, really. It's not really a safe, good thing for the contestants or the animals, and so they were concerned with that. And so they're asking for, to look at that replacement. And I know, Tristan, you can add more. I think we have some quotes, or?
Yes, to council, the two rodeo clubs did supply us with a quote, and it would be to replace the existing arena fencing, which, if you haven't been down there, it's about 7 feet high, made from, I believe, looks like drill stem and page wire. And it would just be to modernize it and get it up to the current standard of rodeo arena, as well the quote. And their request would also finish off the renovations that have been started down there with the already completed bucking chutes. I believe they're looking at a new herringbone, is what it's referred to, but it's their sorting system for the calves in their timed event, and as well as some gates. So the quote that they provided us for that was from, I believe, 2W, and it is for $75,000 to replace all of that. So.
And that's grantable?
Yes,
Yes.
so they're eligible and they're willing to apply for the grant, so I think 50% of that, like 37.5 would, and they can apply for the rest, can make it conditional on that, and they're game for that.
Anthony, is this for the Cynthia skating rink that we denied? No. All right.
So what are we looking at, though? You're looking at seeing if they can get the 37.5 and then doing it on a CFEP half-half?
We'll say a grant, but I know CFAP would be eligible for this, yes, but it might be others. I would just leave it at a grant and see which is the best one, because there's some grants that are even better than matching, so.
So the county will provide up to $37,500.
That's
what
what
you're,
I was getting at, making it up to.
yeah.
Okay, I move that we approve this project with funding of up to $37,500 to upgrade the rodeo facilities as listed on page 89, or described in 89.
The page wire replacement,
Page wire,
and what was the rest, sorry, Tristan said?
There's the page wire. They're looking at finishing off the timed event, and so there'd be a new sorting system and some new gates.
The page wire and upgrades
Yeah.
to the sum of, the total will be 75, and we'd match half that,
okay, page wire and sorting system, it sounds like, for up to $37.50. Okay.
Discussion? All those in favor, discussion?
Bart, it has to come from, and the funds to come from major facility capital investment.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Major facility capital investment reserve.
All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Next item, Colin?
Okay. So on today's agenda, and we have a couple pages as additions to them, this will be number 7 on your agenda, and this is the SAS plant efficiency improvements.
Okay, Darcy and I are back for one more here. So the SAS plant energy efficiency upgrades. The recommended action is that council directs administration to, and have this in two parts. First one, approve $30,000 for removing 24 windows within the lab area of the SAS plant and replace with an insulated wall. Second part, approve $70,000 for installation of wall-mounted solar panels. So to better increase energy efficiency of the solar aquatic system in Cynthia, administration is proposing to remove 24 windows within the lab area and replace with an insulated wall and solar panels. The windows are aesthetically pleasing, however, they reduce the energy efficiency of the facility. The temperature fluctuates in the winter quite a lot in there. The small picture above of the ice on the windows, the ice buildup that we find happening. Removing the windows and replacing them with a well-insulated wall will help reduce the required heating for the building, as well as reducing the cooling effort that's required. And on page 4 there, we do have 2 small pictures at the top, just indicating where the windows start that we're looking to remove and replace with an insulated wall. To bring the SAS to a greener state, administration recommends installing wall-mounted solar panels on this new wall. This will help reduce the energy requirements on the electrical grid created by treating the wastewater. And then there's a small example there of the wall-mounted solar panels.
Those pictures of the frosty windows reminded me as a kid growing up in an uninsulated trailer, and the bottom half, 2 feet, would always be covered in ice. All right, what's your wishes? Go ahead, Glenn.
Through the chair to Colin, we had set aside some money for solar. Could we dip into that to complete this, the $70,000?
Through the chair to Council Gunderson, in the solar reserve count we have, it's approximately about $25,000, so it wouldn't be sufficient for the total funding of the project. Administration would recommend that it be funded through engineered structures.
Anthony?
I move that we approve $30,000 for removing 24 windows within the lab area of the SAS and replace with an insulated wall. And number 2, to approve the $70,000 for installation of a 25.62 kilowatt awning-style wall-mounted solar system, and these are to be funded from engineered structures reserve.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Range Road 63.
Okay, we're on to page 6, Range Road 63 partnership options. So during the regular council meeting of April 5th, 2024, council made the motion to direct administration to investigate partnership options on Range Road 63. So we held discussions and exchanged emails with staff from Pembina Pipeline Corporation regarding potential cost-sharing options for the upgrade of Range Road 63. This specifically concerns a 2.6-kilometer stretch located south of Highway 39. If we go to page 7, there is a map showing that area. So back and forth with discussions, they wanted option 1, option 2 to bring to head office. So we did propose an option 1, which is a paved asphalt surface. In discussions with maintenance, it was us that we do a 60-40 split. So we estimated the cost of the asphalt, their 40% would be $571,240. Longevity of 20 years. And then there was the option to either for them to, you know, contribute that lump sum or sign a maintenance contract for a 20-year period, pay that over 20 years with no further maintenance after that. Or an option 2 would be a Cape Seal surface. The 40% of that was a little bit lower at $480,000. However, it doesn't have the longevity. So with, you know, 2 additional upgrades throughout that time to bring it to the 20 years, there was a total of $928,000. And there would be an ongoing maintenance contracted fee after that point. At the time of writing this report, and as of even today, not had a confirmed response from head office yet.
Okay. What do you folks want to do? Anthony?
The maintenance dollars that are being paid to us yearly, right?
Yeah.
Do you know if they're being paid out of the local office or out of Calgary?
Out of Calgary.
So they're the ones that have to authorize it and have agreed to that portion.
That's right. Yeah, so they prefer that we discuss and work through with Drayton Valley office, but final approval, they want to come through the Calgary office.
Well, this is a road that we've been getting a fair bit of concerns with. We did that SB 90 on it, and that SB 90 now I think is starting to crap out. At least that's from what I've seen of it. So I think it's time that we would act on it. So I would like to see us further, more assertively, I guess, if we can use that phrase, communicate with the Pembina and try to explore a partnership and try to see if we can get their partnership in place to get road work done and completed in 2025.
So you're making that in the form of a motion that
I'm just
we
talking,
pursue
but I
a
would-
partnership with Pembina Pipeline?
I would be willing to make that as a motion, but I'm just talking right up till now.
Kara?
Yeah, just part of the conversation and looking at option 1 and 2. And obviously, if we proceed with working with Pembina, I'm not in all a favor of option 2, not with the cost difference between the two. And then you look at the lifespan of both. It just does not make sense. If we're gonna go ahead with this, it needs to be obviously option 1, but in conjunction with working with that oil field company.
Glenn?
I'm in favor of option 1, but I'm just thinking that we're gonna have to give Pembina Pipeline a longer timeline to get their budget straight. So this might be better to work on 2026 or plan for 2026, just to give them time.
Yeah, they budget a year ahead. But at least we get the ball started. Do you want the motion, Master Anthony?
To further communicate with Pembina, pursuing funding for option 1. To pursue funding for option 1. And I know this is gonna be my version, you guys can see if you agree or not. If possible, complete the road in 2025. If not, we will do it next year.
We can try, right?
At least that's what I'm just throwing out as a scenario.
Maybe put 25, 26 to let them know that they may just say no in 25.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm good with that, but I'm just trying to still push 25 a bit.
Yeah. Okay, is that good enough for folks?
Highway 39.
When we decided to do this, I just threw out calling it a motion master, and it looks like it's stuck.
And I think Pippa told us how many kilometers is it?
2.6.
2.6 kilometers? Well, if we, I think I said option one, so that does imply funding in option one. Do we want it listed in the motion, Bart?
I would probably say that's good enough, because next year, who knows what the price will be, or the year after that, if it's 2026. So pursue the option. You can let them know the approximate cost to date, or
The current costs, yeah.
do you want that under the signature of the Reeve?
Yeah.
Okay, so once you guys get it all crafted, try to make me look good.
An option one does say 40%. Glenn asked about the 40% of option one does talk about 40%?
Yeah, we could have that. You could have it on a 60-40 split, if you want to add that in there.
No, but I mean, option one contains all that.
Okay. Then it's already covered. Anybody make a motion yet?
I'll move that.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor? That's carried unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's everything, I think, isn't it? So are you guys, was there any other motions we had to make, or we got them all covered? We got them all covered? Okay, who wants to take the honors of approving the interim capital budget? Cody, we'll let the youngest go first.
Okay, I move to approve the 2025 interim capital budget.
Discussion? All those in favor? And that's how you do a budget meeting. Okay, yeah. So we got to cancel Monday and Tuesday, a motion to cancel it, and then secondly, approving council to attend. Kara?
Do you guys want it just in the same motion?
Okay,
It's just, it's calendar dates, it's not a,
great.
I move to cancel budget dates 25 and 26, and to approve council's attendance at the premier's announcement at Leduc number 1.
Discussion? All those in favor? And Donna, you want to move to adjourn? Donna?
I move to adjourn.
Good job, 1 o'clock. Record setting. Couldn't have done it without all of you guys, that's for sure. We did a good job. Administration is laughing all the way to the bank, you know, literally. Oh, yeah, Pippa, I want to thank you especially. I understand you did a good job, as well as anybody else that... Yeah, it was a complete staff project, though. Everybody has contributed, but I understand Pippa did the lion's share of the work. So, good job, you guys. Good job, council.
Thanks, Admiral.